Victor the extraterrestrial Wembanyama, Hakeem, the dream, Olajuwon. Who's better at the basketball in their second season? I don't know. You tell me. I'm going to present the numbers and then you tell me who's better at the basketball. All right, let's get right into it. First thing we'll start off with, I always like to start off with super important when you're comparing. You got to look at the minutes per game to get started. 36.3 for Hakeem, 33.3 for Wemby, so 3 minute difference in minutes there. Not a huge difference, it's a factor, but pretty fair comparison in the numbers as far as the minutes go there. All right, another factor we'll come back to a little later is the age. Wemby's younger than a lot of these guys I compare him to for the most part. 4 years of college was kind of a normal thing back then. I'm not sure if Hakeem did 4 years. Please comment below and let me know because I'm honestly not sure. But guys were coming into the NBA expected to immediately make an impact as rookies back then. It wasn't so much, coming as a rookie and we'll develop you for 2 or 3 years and then you're ready to play. Back then, you're pretty much expected to be ready to go as a rookie. That's why they developed a lot of players in college and things like that back in that time. But anyway, second year, 3 minute difference. Hakeem has the 3 more minutes per game. Another big factor is the field goal attempts per game, 17.5 for Olajuwon, 18.9 for Victor. So Victor's a good field goal and a half ahead of Hakeem the Dream. So keep that in mind. Victor took a shot and a half more. All right, let's get right down to it. Points per game, 23.5 for Hakeem, even though he's taking the 1.5 less shots than Victor. 24.7 for Victor, so we'll just call that 25 points for Wet Bananas there. So yeah, Victor's ahead by 1.5 points basically. I guess we'll just call that 1 point. It's so close, even though he's playing 3 minutes less, so we have to give it to Wemby on the points. Another thing I want to see while we're talking about points, field goal percentage, 52% for Hakeem, 48% for Victor. Again, Victor's not playing post game like Hakeem was playing. Hakeem had all of his post moves already at the time. He was already a beast inside for his entire career. Wemby's really not quite yet. He's still developing and adding on muscle, things like that. I'm saying before, he added on like 15 pounds of muscle in the off season. He doesn't have a go-to post move. He doesn't even really have a go-to mid-range move. He doesn't have really any go-to moves. He's just out there freestyling right now, and he's just averaging freaking 25 points, 4 blocks, 11 rebounds, just messing around, learning how to play NBA basketball right now, which is crazy to think. But yeah, 52% for Hakeem, 48% for Wemby, so we have to give Hakeem the edge there in field goal percentage, and even with him shooting better field goal percentage, Wemby's still ahead. Basically just the 1 point. We'll just call it the 1 point on the points per game. Another thing to look at there, I don't think I mentioned it, but the field goal attempts per game. Wemby, yeah, like I said at the beginning, 1.5 more field goal attempts per game for Wemby. So that pretty much adds up. He has the 1 more point per game. If Hakeem was getting that 1 more shot per game, he'd probably be averaging, 24.5 or so as well, to be fair. But you got to give the points to Wemby. Blocks per game, 4 for Wemby. Hakeem was no slouch on the blocks per game. He's one of the greatest defensive players of all time. But 3.5 for Hakeem, so we have to give Wemby the edge. He's about a block, rather half a block ahead of Hakeem on the blocks per game. Steals per game, 1.1 for Wemby. 2 steals per game for Olajuwon, you can make the argument he's the best defensive player ever. I'd probably give it to him, honestly. If you just kind of look through his seasons here, he had 3.5 blocks that season, 3.5 the next season, 3 the season after that, 3.5 the next season after that, and he had 2 steals, then 2 steals the next season, 2.1 the next season, 2.5 the next season. So this dude's pretty much always having 3 blocks and 2 steals. He did that freaking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons in a row. Then the season after that, more like 8 seasons in a row. Because those last 2 seasons, he had 1.8 steals, 4.2 blocks, which is just ridiculous to have 2 steals and 4 blocks. People make the argument Hakeem's the best defender of all time, and I would honestly agree. I'd say he is. But yeah, that season, 3.5 blocks and 2 steals. So Wemby's got him on the blocks. Hakeem's got him on the steals, where Wemby has 1.1. Hakeem's a whole steal ahead of him. But again, best defender of all time. We'll see if Wemby can challenge for that crown, as his career goes on and on. But right now, got to give it to Hakeem just overall defensively. But just comparing numbers, he's got him by a whole steal, or Wemby's got him by half a block. All right, assists, 3.7 assists for Wemby. We'll just give him 4. Only the 2 assists for Hakeem. As his career went on, it looks like he got better. He got up to about 3.5 assists per game or so. But at that time, he's just more focused on just post scoring. He's just so much more skilled than everyone at the time. No one can guard him really down low. So just get into your bag, get into your dream fakes and your shimmy moves and all your great post game. You're not too worried about passing other dudes so much. But Wemby, the 4 assists, these 2 assists clear of Hakeem, so we got to give Wemby the assist there. Give Wemby 11 total rebounds per game. Hakeem had the 11.5. So not a big difference, but Hakeem's the half a rebound ahead. It's 10.7 to 11.5, so I can even give Hakeem really the one whole rebound ahead, basically, to be honest. All right, free throw percentage. Wemby's at 87%. Not many big guys are going to be ahead of Wemby in the free throw percentage, to be honest. Hakeem was at 65%. Not very good, but back then they didn't really give a crap about big guys shooting free throws. You can just brick them all day as long as you're making your post shots and your shots inside. They weren't really working too much on their free throws. You're seeing now as the NBA moves on, more and more big guys are coming in with a good free throw shot already. But back then, nobody really cared about that. But yeah, I'll give Wemby the edge on the free throws. 3-point percentage. Of course, Wemby's got him there. Hakeem wasn't even shooting threes. His first 2 seasons, I don't think he even attempted one. Yeah, it looks like he didn't even attempt one his first 2 whole seasons, so that's not even a factor. But Wemby is 35%, so he's a good 3-point shooter, but we have nothing to compare him to with Hakeem not shooting any. Then back to the field goal percentage, 48% for Wemby. Hakeem freaking 53% from the field again. He wasn't shooting outside shots. Wemby's game is a perimeter-oriented game where Hakeem is just getting busy in the post. He has a full post bag already. He's basically unstoppable down there for his whole career. So, just feed him the ball down there as they should. He's just so dominant down there that, I can't blame them for doing that. But yeah, field goal attempts. Wemby had the 1.5 more field goal attempts again, like we were saying earlier. So yeah, Wemby's got him on the points, but with that 1.5 more field goal attempts, if Hakeem had those, I feel like the points would be about even. So we can kind of call the points almost a wash, just about even there. Even though, Hakeem did have the 36 minutes per game. I think we just have to give it to Wemby on the points because he is 1 point ahead, and then if Wemby had the 3 extra minutes per game, he'd have even more points. 4 blocks per game. Hakeem had the 3.5. Wemby's the half a block ahead. If he had the 3 more minutes per game, he'd be probably closer to 4.2 blocks or so. So yeah, we just have to give it to Wemby on the blocks as well. Got to give it to Hakeem on the steals. He's one of the best 7-footers of all time as far as stealing the ball. And again, like I said earlier, just the best defensive player of all time, in my opinion. Wemby's great. We'll see, if he, I don't think he'll ever be quite as agile and have like the lateral quickness that Hakeem has, just with him being so much bigger. But whatever he lacks in the steals department to Hakeem, I feel like he's going to make up for it in the blocks department. I feel like Dennis is insane. And one of Hakeem's best years. He averaged 4.5 blocks and 2 steals, basically back-to-back seasons. The next season, 4 blocks and 2 steals. So just insane to have back-to-back seasons where you're averaging 4 blocks and 2 steals. That's just insane numbers. We'll see if Wemby is able to do that. I feel like at some point in his career he will be able to do that, but only time will tell there. Hakeem, 11.5 total rebounds here in his second season. Wemby, basically 10.5. So Hakeem's got him by the one total rebound, and he's playing less time out there, so that those minutes per game is always a factor. Again, Wemby's got him on free throw percentage. Hakeem's got him on the field goal percentage. Hakeem's at 53%, where Wemby's at 48%. So he has a decent gap in the field goal percentage. Hakeem's a bit ahead right there. I'm gonna redo the video once we get later into the season, or rather once the season's totally over, so I can compare these numbers more accurately. Because we'll see. I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm hoping Wemby's numbers do get better, but we'll see if it gets better or worse or stays the same, and just see how the season ends up for Wemby and what his numbers just end up looking like by the time the season's over. But again, Wemby's got the check on the points per game. 24.5 to 23. Wemby's got him on the blocks, 4 to 3.5. Kareem's got him on the steals, the 2 to 1 steals. So Hakeem's a steal ahead. Wemby's got him on the assists by about 2 assists. Hakeem is 1 rebound ahead, 11.5 to basically 10.5. Field goal percentage is close, but Hakeem's got him 53% to 48%. Again, Wemby's playing a perimeter style game. He's shooting 9 threes per game, and he's still averaging that good of a field goal percent. People say, "Oh, Wemby's got to get inside and do all these post moves and this and that. He'll be averaging 60% field goal percentage or whatever, this and that." I don't agree with that. Wemby's, I don't want to say he can't handle the physicality of the game, because he's getting more and more used to it as time goes on and he adds more muscle, but he's not. He doesn't have the frame to where he's just going to get down there on the block and go toe-to-toe with 250, 260-pound dudes, and try to back them down all game and just do this and that. Once, is actually a great comparison as well, because once Wemby does develop his post game, he will develop a post game, and once he does develop it, he's not going to be freaking Shaquille O'Neal down there. He's not going to be freaking Dwight Howard down there. That's not his post game. He's going to be Hakeem. He's going to be Kareem. He's going to be a finesse style post game. I guess Kareem's an okay comparison too. Kareem had power, a lot of power to go along with his finesse, but overall finesse style post game for Kareem. Hakeem, definitely best finesse style post big man of all time. Dream shake, all the different moves he had in the post. People still emulate his moves to this day, and he's invented a bunch of. I think he may have even invented that little shimmy shake guys like to do. Just so much impact he's had offensively in the post. And like I was saying, people are like, "Oh, Wemby needs to be freaking 300 pounds and put on all this weight." Again, that's not his style. He wants to keep his finesse. He wants to be able to still handle the ball and move laterally. Keep that in his defense as well, his lateral movement and his quickness, but just add on maybe 15 more pounds of muscle, and then learn his hook shots, spin moves, little floaters, little Tim Duncan bank shots and stuff like that in the post. And then, once he gets there, we'll see better field goal percentages, more points per game, and things like that. But the people saying, he needs to put on all this muscle and this and that and just bully people in the post, you're trying to take away from what makes him special. He's always going to be shooting threes his whole career. He's always going to be a good free throw shooter. He's going to be a good mid-range shooter. He's always going to have the good lateral movement, especially for freaking 7'5" guy. But yeah, like I was saying, it's not 20, 25 more pounds of muscle that he needs. Let's have some Shaquille O'Neal post game. He's gonna be a Hakeem Olajuwon style offensive post player. As a Spurs fan, that's what we're hoping to see from him. He'll just learn how to be a finesse big. He's just so tall that all of his shots are basically going to be wide open once he learns how to get to his spot and just catch the ball in the spots where he wants it. But again, that's going to come with an off season to develop his post moves and just get a little more strength on 10, 15 more pounds of muscle. He's not going to be freaking Dwight Howard, Shaquille O'Neal again. But yeah, with that being said, his field goal percentage will go up as time goes on. And then to close out the video too, I think I mentioned it earlier, but Hakeem was 23 years old at this point. Wemby's only 21. Next season, Wemby's 24. Going into his fourth season, or once it's January of his fourth season, Wemby will be turning 23, just like Hakeem is in this season. And then, let me see Wemby's numbers when he's turning 23. And no disrespect to Hakeem, but I think Wemby's numbers will be better than his. Honestly, I was thinking in my head, I almost said they won't even be close, but that's super disrespectful to Hakeem. They're still going to be close. I don't know if Wemby can average the 2 steals per game, for basically 10 seasons straight. It seems like Hakeem was, at 1.8 those later seasons, but still rounded up to 2, and then still averaging 3-4 blocks a game, which is just insane. Wemby has the frame and the skills to be the best defensive player of all time. But you should give Hakeem a call on the phone and just kind of pick his brain, sit down with Hakeem, and just see what he did to be so great defensively. I know a lot of it's just he was a physical freak as well. He had some of the best lateral movement for a 7-footer and some of the best instincts of all time for a 7-footer. But yeah, I feel like once Wemby's 23, during his fourth season in January, that'll be his birthday. So we'll have all of the rest of this season, all of next season, so a season and a half to keep on developing his game offensively and defensively. And then after that season and a half, that'll be like, Hakeem coming into his second season. So we'll have to come back to it and see again how Wemby's looking after his fourth season. It'll be a more fair comparison. But even now, you can see how comparable Wemby's numbers are and how great Wemby is. Always in the videos was saying who's the better player their second year. That's the title of the video, so I got to answer the question. I think that Wemby is honestly the better player in his second year. He's playing less minutes and still putting up comparable numbers and even beating out Hakeem in some areas. We'll have to see how Wemby's career progresses and see if he ends up being a better overall player than Hakeem when his career is done. We're so early in his career we can't even really talk about it yet. But just comparing their second seasons, I think if you traded Hakeem and Wemby right now, just for this season, just for the end of the 2024-2025 season, I don't think having second year Hakeem makes our team better than we are right now. And then adding Wembanyama to that Rockets team, I have to check the players and stuff on that team to make a more fair comparison. But just as 2 players in a vacuum, I think that Wemby is the better player in his second season, which is crazy to say because he's only 21. By the time Wemby's going into that fourth season, turning 23, as long as he stays healthy, I feel like he'll be, again, don't want to say a much better player, but I feel like he will be a better player than Hakeem. It's crazy to say because he's only 21, and all the comparison videos we do for Wemby, you have to compare him to legends because there's no one else his stats compare to other than young legends in the league. But yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, please comment below what you think about the comparison. Please let me know which player you think is better in their second season. Please like and subscribe as well. I have a lot of returning viewers, and I appreciate you guys for watching my videos, again and again. But some of my returning viewers aren't subscribed to the channel yet, so please subscribe down low and hit that bell for your notifications to be on. And I definitely appreciate y'all's support. We look forward to seeing you guys again.